Hello, my name is Ryan and I review motorcycles. Last year I rode 10 bikes through the break-in period. This is how I do it. First, you buy a new motorcycle in November. The riding season is almost done, Christmas hasn't arrived, and EICMA just made everything on the floor old news. Then come January 1st, these motorcycles will turn into pumpkins. So Cinderella will drop her pants to make a deal. Charming. Next, I idle the bike for 5 minutes. This moves oil to all the oily parts of the engine. It also lets me keep an eye out for smoke signals and unusual sounds. Manufacturing defects are rare, but if there is one, I prefer to catch it from the safety and convenience of a dealership parking lot. Once I'm convinced that I bought an engine rather than a grenade, it's time for the riveting first ride.
Buy the money tree for only $9.99 because
Low-speed figure eights roughen up much of the tire profile, while also giving me a feel for the bike's weight, balance, and dynamics. See, new motorcycles come with new tires, and while slippery release agents are a thing of the past, I still want to scrub some roughness into the tread before cutting loose. More than 50% of crashes involve riders who are new to their machines, so I always get acquainted with fresh bikes in a low-risk scenario. Now once that's done, I'm gonna go for a real ride to break in the engine with real combustion pressure. And whether I do this by riding hard or riding gently is an extremely contentious topic. It's up there with old FortNine favorites like, which religion is best? Got guns? Littering 101. How to make a longer riding season, and the evils of capitalism. Contentious as it is, hard breakers and soft breakers agree on one thing. The break-in period is about seating piston rings to the cylinder wall.
Excuse me, class.
If this is my piston separating the combustion chamber from the crankcase, then we have oil down here and an air-fuel mixture up here. The piston ring separates the two, but if it doesn't seal properly, we end up losing oil into the combustion chamber and losing combustion gas into the crankcase. Results? We burn more oil and lose compression, meaning we burn more gas and lose horsepower. Okay, so how do I seal my piston rings to the cylinder wall? From the factory, both have micro rough surfaces, and when you rub two rough things together, they get smoother and the surfaces begin to match, to form a seal. So on the simplest level, you break in an engine by running it. However, if you exert too much pressure on the surfaces, the mountains on one will carve deep valleys in the other, and when the pressure is released, you'll get empty gaps rather than a seal. That's why I never lug the engine during a break-in period. If the piston's moving too slow, it could still be compressing when combustion happens. And that creates a spike in pressure, carving deep valleys in the cylinder wall, so I avoid low rev. Okay, so gentle break-in is crap. I should just grab a handful and go like hell. Wrong. You can also spin an engine too fast, building up enough friction heat to soften the piston rings. If that happens, the surfaces will warp as they cool, and they won't match. Okay, so hard break-in is crap too. I should probably just cruise at middle RPMs for the first 1,000 kilometers. Wrong again. If I stay at 4,000 RPM for the entire break-in period, I'm only teaching my engine one type of heat and pressure. When I eventually go beyond that, it'll feel the notch. So the ideal break-in ground is neither mellow cruise, nor frantic racetrack, nor steady highway. It's a twisty road with occasional spots to pull off. That lets me vary the RPMs from just above the lug line on up to the red line. Woo! I do that for about 10 minutes, and then I find a nice place to take a break and let the engine cool down. Okay, that'll work. A nautical November day helps to keep temperatures reasonable, and I wouldn't trust the dash on this one either. Just because the overall temp is normal, it doesn't mean there isn't a hot spot between the ring and the cylinder. Once my cooldown break is over, I start varying the throttle all over again. Brisk acceleration and deceleration is the quickest way to heat up tires. Remember that our new treads need heat to get sticky. Meanwhile, upshifting and downshifting puts positive and negative pressure between piston and piston ring, another crucial factor for making a good seal. So that's how I break in a new bike, by using a wide variety of RPMs and taking frequent breaks. never lug an engine by riding too soft, never overheat the cylinders by riding too hard. Wait a minute, why does the owner's manual say to ride gently then? Probably because if they told everyone to hit the red line, they'd essentially be advising new riders on new bikes to hit Mach 10 on city streets. Lawsuit, lawsuit, lawsuit. Let that be a reminder to us of the risks involved. Every experienced rider is inexperienced on a new bike. The most important rule for breaking in an unfamiliar motorcycle is to stick to familiar speeds, familiar lean angles, and familiar roads. I always do. And a couple thousand kilometers down the road, when I've changed the dinosaur oil a handful of times to remove metal shavings, when my carefully varied RPMs become a little more wild, when my frequent brakes become a little more infrequent, and when my new motorcycle is a little less new to me, then the break-in period is over. And I'll ride the thing with absolutely no limits, just to show it what kind of life we're in for, and just so anything that's gonna break will break under warranty.